Here at the Black and Brown Fest, we have.
I am Derek.
And I'm Bia, and we're the Centaurettes from
The
St. Louis,
Centaurettes.
Missouri.
It's a long ways to travel.
Yeah, only about 12 hours.
14 with stops.
Now, recently, I had seen a couple of y'all's like here and there recorded shows like on YouTube, and I'd also went through one of y'all's albums, the one with the barge on it.
Cute to be mean.
Hey.
Yeah, yes, that is the album name.
Cool.
It's amazing, but y'all strike me as also like a band that's element is also equally live, more so. Just as like your recording, you put a certain spice on your recordings and a certain like heart into your live shows.
Yeah, thank you. We definitely put a huge focus into making our recording sound as close to the live sound as possible. So I'm glad that that shines through.
It's just very I just noticed like y'all are solid, and I noticed like today y'all were doing kind of like reminded me of y'all ever heard of the band Big Black? So
Oh, no.
it's three people that are that play instruments that have a backing drum machine.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're from the 80s. They're a post-hardcore band.
Oh, okay.
We'll definitely have to check that out.
I-
That's kind of, we didn't really like choose to go in this direction. It was kind of thrust upon us, but I think we've been rolling with it and really making the best of it. And everyone who hears it and has heard us previously with live drummers seems extremely receptive to it. So
Now,
that's
is
been
this
really cool.
have y'all toured like this?
So that was kind of how it happened. Was 1 week before tour, our drummer tore their ACL, and it was 1 week out. So we were like, "What the fuck do we do? Do we cancel
We either
everything?
cancel a 2-week tour
do we
or-
just do we go acoustic? Like, what the fuck do we do?" So we're like, "You know what? Let's just take the pre-recorded studio drum tracks we already fucking have, and just go for it." And at first, the first few shows, it was a little rocky while we figured it out. But by the end of tour, we were having so much fun with it. We were like, let's just stay this way.
Yeah, it just felt really fun and felt like you can like really embellish a lot more when you're going into that like kind of synth punk territory a little bit.
Well, it's just so cutting. Like just how linear it is. It almost feels like your eyes are seeing right through like the entire crowd in a way. Yeah, just like
I appreciate it. I get that from the Throwing Muses. Kristen
right.
Hirsch. She's like,
Very
it's
piercing,
all eyes,
very
all
piercing.
eyes. I also think in the modern age, you can't really just be a band that goes on and plays and gets off. There has to be some kind of performance art for you to stick out, especially in the underground scene. Like, I don't know. I especially think in the modern age, you have to find a new way to separate yourself that they didn't have to do back in the fucking 90s and 80s and shit.
Right,
Especially if you're a punk band.
I think a lot of that also comes with being a queer and POC band as well. You have to do a lot more to stick out. You have to work a lot harder to get noticed and get traction and just even get people to hear whatever you're doing. And
Yeah.
so I think like what we did today is hugely, extremely important because giving Black and brown artists that platform to shine without the competition of maybe someone with more natural born benefits would have.
Right,
so
right.
I think that's
Yup.
a beautiful thing, and I'm like super honored that we got to be a part of it today.
I'm so happy to be here.
and like so it's I mean honestly, but the payoff for that is just unrecognizable. It's just so amazing that like once you actually come into being yourself, like it's hard being vulnerable like and being musicians, I know that I don't half of the things that I admit about my songs I don't like admitting to a
I
bunch
wouldn't
of
say
people.
in like a
I feel
sentence, in a
that.
regular sentence out loud.
Right,
For sure.
right,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Let's hear about $10 on Pump 13. How did that song come to happen?
So that was actually a poem I wrote at one of the worst times of my life. I was more or less a fucking drug addict. I had no job. Basically, I was just broke as shit, living bare bones essentials, and I just wrote a poem. One day I was at the gas station, and I literally had my last $10 on me, and I was like, I need $10 on Pump 13, and I was like, I need to write that fucking shit down.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I went home and I wrote a poem about it. And that was then a few years later when we went to record Cute to Be Mean, I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool if I just added like this is almost like a slam poetry kind of thing. And I was like, I'm just going to add a bass drum and just words. And I never intended on doing it live. I intended on leaving it on the record, but
That was pure,
Almost like an
pure
interlude.
pressure.
yeah, just kind of like a fun little record interlude thing. But I have personally heard more about that one song than literally anything I've spent months and months of my life writing and putting together on guitar with all kinds of melodies and shit. And I was like, okay, well, if this is what I hear about, I started doing it live, which I didn't like at first, but we kind of hit a groove with it with time, and now it's one of my favorite things to do live.
And I think that also goes to speak to like what we said earlier, that vulnerability that really resonates with people the most.
100%.
Setting the guitar down is really fucking hard.
Now, what are some of y'all's musical influences as far as like what are, or at least like what experiences have you had, or where'd you pick up music? What is it that you do on your own time leisurely that really influences y'all?
Okay, if we're all being vulnerable, I'm not gonna lie. Most of my bass rig is modeled after Kim Deal's
Nice.
1990s, like, you know, throwing muses.
Do you like
breeders.
Antsy Pants?
Yes.
Antsy Pants
yes,
is awesome.
Yes. So a lot of that crunch and a lot of that boom. So like I would say Kim Deal is one of my biggest influences. Another huge one for me is probably Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh wait, Kim
Her
Deal.
the way she just like commands the stage and like commands your attention up there and like holds on to it is like hugely influential to just see like such a powerful black woman like doing the damn thing, you know.
I had accidentally said Antsy Pants by Kimya, but I went to go see a Free Breeders show, like one of my first like actual big shows,
Oh really? That's crazy.
I'm so jealous.
and also which is one of my favorite. My favorite band loves Kim Deal, which is Shellac, Steve Albini.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
man.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like they're like super great friends, and he says that he's obligated to have to record her anytime that she asks.
Oh yeah. I mean, no
would?
questions asked.
She's a genius.
Who would?
3 in the morning.
Yeah,
On the way.
absolutely.
Hey, Kim.
yeah. You called. Yeah. Just shows up.
I'm
For
on the
me,
way.
I come from like alt rock and grunge and things like that, and that's kind of where I was when I was doing my own thing. And then once we kind of started putting stuff together, Bia brought like so much more of a different and unique edge to it that it completely changed everything I was doing by myself, and it really wouldn't ever be the same with just one of us.
Now, when you're like talking about like grunge, like would you say like the big four, like Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and
More so
Nirvana?
like Nirvana and Alice in Chains. Never really could do
Mudhoney.
Soundgarden or Pearl Jam.
Mudhoney?
Mudhoney is killer. Yeah,
have you
the punk
Melvins.
stuff. The punk stuff
course.
really gets me. The punk stuff really gets me.
Have you seen the documentary Hype?
I know it. I have not seen it, but I've read about it like a million times.
There's so many bands that you'll love. But yeah, like no, I just wanted to get a better feel for y'all. What can we expect in the future from Centaurettes though?
More recordings, more music, more blackness, more gayness, more joy,
Yeah,
everything.
From here, right now, like what we did tonight and what we did on tour and everything is kind of like a prototype in that right now we have our old songs with some light synths and stuff in the background. But moving forward, we're going to start writing with the electronic sense in mind. And really from here, we're kind of going to change everything and kind of become more like an electronic punk band, which isn't really something I see. So like, I think it's
like
a really
when
fun new
Fiddler
direction.
added a horn section.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
no, for sure.
So
I mean-
I've been trying to like find inspiration and stuff in anything I can. Like Waves is like kind of close thing going on, but like I really don't see a lot of that. So I'm like, let's just lean into this 100%.
Adam and his package.
You what?
Adam and his package. Oh, you've never. Anyway.
No, you'll have to. No, I'll have to fucking come
right.
back at me with that.
But anyway, I can't wait to hear it. Where y'all going next? Y'all going back to St. Louis? Or are y'all touring again soon? Or
Yeah, we're gonna like. I think we're planning an East Coast tour for early next year. Is the idea. We want to record a little bit more by the end of the year. Is kind of our personal goal. Whether it's a few songs or whatever, but I think that whatever the next release is going to be is really going to shake things up for us and really going to surprise a lot of people.
Well, all right, Shaw. Anything you want to plug? Where can we follow you? Any
Follow
albums
us
out
on
now?
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at the Centaurettes, all of those places. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank
Oh,
you all
yeah.
so much for sitting down. All right, y'all.